Hey everyone, I'm Grandmaster Ben Feingold here with 5 Minutes with Ben, and I'm Ben. We're going to look at a game that was played, for me today, for you yesterday. This was played in round 4 of the Prague International Chess Festival. It's a slow chess tournament, amazing. They still play slow chess? Where's my imaginary friend? Where the players are all between 2,600 and 2,800. And this game was no exception. Wei Yi is white. 2755 FIDE against David Navara, 2677 FIDE. And they got this position, and the reason I'm making a 5 minutes with Ben is this game ended in like 5 minutes. And I was like, well, isn't this like complicated? So if you just showed me this position, I wouldn't know who's better. Very sharp. White has a lot of pressure on the E-pawn. Black has very far advanced pawns on the king side, but does that mean that black has more space and is taking control of the position, or is black's king open? Anyway, there's one thing I do know. Black's next move was the losing move. So, two bishops, what else? And I guess Navara said, two bishops, so what? And he played bishop takes the knight on c2. This severely weakens the d4 pawn because that gets rid of two white defenders, queen takes. But black can't take on d4 because it's pinned. But black didn't care. He thought, I'm going to attack the d pawn again, queen f6. And he figured if the d pawn moved, either by taking on e5 or playing d5, that would open up the diagonal for the bishop, and black would have really active play. Okay, Wei Yi didn't care about the d-pawn. He said, I have two bishops, I have the white squares, I need to activate the rest of my pieces. And by rest of my pieces, I mean rook on a1. Okay, so Wei Yi played rook e4. He's going to double up on the bubble up. And Navara said, that's why I took on c2. Now I'm a pawn ahead. Go, Navara. And Wei Yi doubled rooks. And he said, I'm going to play rook e6. I'm going to come in. Now I'm going to checkmate you. And Navara said, chomp, 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 more pawns. White just recaptured. So black's up a pawn, but white has the two bishops, and black's king is exposed, and white dominates the e-file. And black's knight is also dominated. It can't go to b4 or d4 or e5 or e7. It doesn't want to go to b8 or d8. So black's pieces actually aren't very good. And Navara didn't want white to play rook e6 and come in on the white squares. So he played queen f5 and pinned the rook. So if the rook moves away, black can play queen takes queen. So Wei Yi played bishop d3 and said, no, I'm going to move my rook. Now white's threatening rook e7 check with the discovered attack on the queen. So the queen went to the center. White did play rook e6, which he always intended to do. Now black's king doesn't look so good anymore. Black played rook f6. Trading pieces usually eases the defense. And they did trade. Black's king goes for a little walk, but it's a little walk. But man, that walk didn't last too long because white played the very nice move, queen to d2. The queen wants to go to h6, which is checkmate soon. So king g7. And white would like to play queen g5 check, but there's a queen on d5 defending g5. So white plays the explosive move, c4. And the queen wants to stay on the g5 square. Otherwise, white's going to play queen g5 check, and white's queen and two bishops and rook are going to crush the black king. So black played the only move that defends the g5 square, queen c5. White infiltrated with rook e6 again. Now white wants to play queen h6 check. See, now, if you asked me what's going on here, I would tell you white's winning. But when we started, I didn't know what was going on. White sacrificed a pawn. White got the two bishops. Black's king is finished. Black stopped queen h6 check the only way possible, the only way that I see, rook h8. And white infiltrated with queen f4. The queen's coming to f6. There's no defense to that. And in this position, the engine actually announces checkmate and says black should play queen f2 check to last the longest. Otherwise, queen f6 check and rook e8 and such is going to be mate really quickly. So that game went south really quickly for Navara. A brilliant win from Wei Yi, one of the only wins today in the Prague Chess Festival. I hope you enjoyed that game as much as Wei Yi did, and I hope your king is safer than Navara's. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time with more 5 Minutes with Ben. Bye, everybody.